Turning to another big story from India's northeast. Now, that has become the preferred destination for football tournaments of late. And the Indian men's football played their first match of the year against neighbouring Myanmar. The match is part of Indian team's preparation for 2023 AFC or Asian Cup, which begins in Qatar in January next year. India is currently ranked 106 in the FIFA rankings, while Myanmar stands at 159th spot. India hopes to reach the World Cup for the first time in their history after FIFA changed the World Cup rules to include 48 instead of 32 teams in the tournament. The Indian team has been gradually improving over the last few years, along with the growth of the Indian Super League, creating a slim chance for qualification. The Indian men's football team, if you look at it, is dominated by players from the northeast, especially from Manipur. We'll put out the team composition as well on our screens to talk about why it is interesting and important that Manipur today is hosting an international tournament. After all, the Indian team has the maximum players from this very small state tucked away in India's northeast. And just like in Olympics, which has seen some of the most prolific players emerge from the northeastern states, Manipur again tops the list. Several athletes from the northeastern states have represented India at the Summer Games, including Kunjarani Devi, Shiva Thapa, Mary Kom, Jitu Rai and others. Their enormous contributions have helped India win individual as well as group medals in the past editions of the Olympics. There were 8 Indian athletes hailing from 4 northeastern states at the Tokyo Olympics, and 3 of them clinched an Olympic medal. So just yesterday we were talking about the women boxers, and today as well talking about the big wins in the World Boxing Championship. It's time to talk about an international football tournament, and we have with us now here on the program, joining me is Bhaichung Bhutia, legendary footballer known as the Sikkimese Sniper. Bhaichung, very good evening, warm welcome. Thank you for joining us here on Mirror Now. We are having you as a guest today on the occasion of Manipur hosting an international tournament, a tri-nation tournament. India has already won the first match at the Khumam Lampak main stadium in Imphal. The Blue Tigers will face Kyrgyzstan at the same venue on the 28th of March. What I want to ask you, Bhaichung, is that Northeast, scarred by militancy for the longest time, today it's getting a fresh reputation of being a sporting destination, of being a football hub. As somebody who comes from the region, how do you feel about this?
Very, very proud. In fact, I would like to congratulate Mr. Biren Singh, the CM of Manipur, for coming forward and hosting this tournament. I think it's a newly elected government in Manipur. So first of all, I would like to congratulate the Manipur government. At the same time, I think, yes, All India Football Federation is also contributed to it. But I think we somehow in the Northeast are not slightly a little happy with the All India Football Federation, because you've seen Northeast has produced players after players for the Indian national team. But I think that kind of support from the federation is still not come to Northeast. We don't have even a single academy of federation here. We still don't have football excellence center in Northeast. So I think federation now, after this, you saw a great crowd come in to support the national team. I think Northeast has gone through a lot of problems in the past with insurgency, as you mentioned. So I think it's time that federation would now come forward and start doing some kind of infrastructure and youth development programs in Northeast. All the players that have come from Northeast is either through the local clubs or through their own village programs or through their own individual efforts. So we need some kind of effort from the Football Federation to come in.
That's an important point you're making, and you've been a torchbearer in this regard. You've taken up issues at multiple platforms. Right now, do you consider this a big leap of faith? Despite all hurdles, all constraints, the fact that Manipur, in a way, shall I say, has been put in the world map. There are many in India who don't know where Manipur is, and today the world has been forced to sit up and take notice. The state has hosted a international tournament with whatever limited infrastructure that it has. But like you said, the federation needs to do more. These are big strides, nevertheless, isn't it, Bhaichung?
Definitely, yes. I think it's a big boost for football, Northeast football. Plus also Indian team coming and playing in Northeast. And also, the CM in Manipur Biren Singh himself is an ex-footballer, so I think that's a great combination as well. And I hope more football tournaments, especially with the national team, is hosted in Manipur, and not in Manipur, but other parts of Northeast state as well, because I think there is a huge interest in football in Northeast. There's only one sport that is played, so we produce a lot of Olympians in other sports as well, but football is still the number one in Northeast.
Yes.
So I think Manipur is set the example, and hopefully other states like Meghalaya, Mizoram is another big footballing state. Then you've got Sikkim, Tripura, and Assam obviously is a big state. So hopefully other state would also come forward and start hosting these big tournaments in future.
Right, absolutely. Let's hope this is a good beginning. The team composition, as you also mentioned, 6 to 7 players in the Indian team from Manipur alone. Yet, the Indian team has in fact benefited the most from talents from the Northeast, like yourself. I mean, there is no denying, isn't it? And when you play international, Mr. Bhutia, it's not Sikkim or Manipur or Mizoram. You play as India, right? So how do you get the other states to follow suit? You said that there must be an energy generated with this. The other states must come forward as well, because like I said, the team needs players from all the different parts as well.
Definitely, yes, because I think, as you mentioned earlier as well, the kind of problems the Northeast had gone through over the years, and also a lot of people who now I'm sure many people would know where Manipur is or Sikkim is, but I think still there was a lot of gap in that, and I think it's the sports person from Northeast is really integrated Northeast into India in such a big way, and it's very important that we've got icons and sports stars, representing India. So I think it helps the nation, entire nation, to connect, and especially Northeast to, feel more proud about it. And I think that really brings in, it also helps to integrate India as one great country. So I think this definitely is going to help, especially the Northeastern, to feel that, which we've been lacking big time with a lot of issues around, that we all should feel proud that we're Indians, and a lot of Northeasterns have contributed to just not in sports but other field as well, in terms of India as a country to grow.
Yes, the sporting fraternity from Northeast has brought us laurels. The women boxers have made us proud. Again, today we are reporting about 2 of our women boxers who are sure now to get at least silver medal in the World Boxing Championship. Again, in the boxing arena as well, so many women from the Northeast, from Manipur again. But I want to ask you, before I let you go, the question that must be asked of you a number of times: when will we have a football team that is ready to go to the Football World Cup?
As I said, for us, hosting a international tournament in Northeast is a great step going forward. Yes. But we need to invest in grassroots. And that is where I think, the federation will have to do much more in providing and supporting the local football association, state football association, by helping them to grow, sending them good coaches, training those coaches in the regions, starting a football academy or a sports excellence centers here in Northeast. That's not just in Northeast, but the rest of the country as well. But yes, Northeast has been one of the main football hub, and where you've seen a lot of players that has been produced. So until and unless we don't really invest in grassroots and produce more quality players, then it becomes very, very difficult. If we don't have good players, they are the ones who will take India to the World Cup. Yes. So once we start doing that seriously, I think we've got a good chance of getting to World Cup.
Very, very
in
important.
Next, 10 to 15 years.
Right. It's a long process. It takes a long-term plan to nurture talent at the grassroots. Bhaichung Bhutia, thank you so much for joining us here on the program, for sharing your thoughts. We decided to put the spotlight on the Northeast to celebrate this moment, where a small state in India's Northeast is today hosting a tri-nation tournament. Bhaichung Bhutia, thanks, and appreciate your joining us this evening.
Thank you very much.
Let's in fact introduce